Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Town Council. This meeting will come to order at 6:01 p.m. Roll call. Vice President Ludwig.
Here.
Mr. LeBlanc.
Here.
Mrs. Shockley.
Here.
Mrs. Lima.
Here.
Mrs. Dixon here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Shockley, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please provide the emergency evacuation. Mrs. Thank you. Agenda B2, approval of Town Council meeting minutes for July 25th, 2022, reference pages 4 to 26. Madam Clerk, did you receive any corrections?
Yes, I did.
Have the corrections been made?
All but 3. I just received tonight.
Okay. Are there any other corrections? All right. May I have a motion and a second to approve the amended minutes for July 25th, 2022?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Vice President Ludwig?
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Lima?
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn into executive session at 6:02 p.m.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Thank you. For the following purposes, closed pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42465A1, discussions of job performance, character, physical, and mental health of a person or persons, specifically for the council to discuss evaluation of the town manager's evaluation and goal setting, and close pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42465A1, discussion of job performance, character, physical, and mental health of a person or persons, specifically for the council to discuss candidates for the school building design committee. Roll call. Ms. Vice President Ludwig.
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc.
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley.
Yes.
Mrs. Lima.
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. We will now adjourn into executive session.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Thought I did catch
Did you
up.
entertain them?
Well, I mean, I just talked to some people.
That's good.
That's a whole.
Oh. And they left? Oh, wait, for real? Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry that we were late. We had a lot to discuss and we were trying to be as efficient as possible, but we ran over. But I appreciate your waiting and we hope the rest of the meeting will be very interesting. We're planning it to be a very interesting meeting, so thank you for staying. Members of the public, the council met in executive session for the following: closed pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42465A1, discussion of job performance, character, physical and mental health of a person or persons, specifically for the council to discuss evaluation, the town manager's evaluation and goal setting. No votes were taken. And closed pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42465A1, discussion of job performance, character, physical or mental health of a person or persons, specifically for the council to discuss candidates for the school building design committee. No votes were taken. May I have a motion to adjourn from executive session at 8:01, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call. Vice President Ludwig,
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley.
Yes.
Mrs. Lima.
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. May I have a motion to seal the minutes of the executive session?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call. Vice President Ludwig,
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley.
Yes.
Mrs. Lima.
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. Agenda D, licenses for discussion and/or action. Agenda D1, renewable mobile food establishment license, Casa Tia Rose LLC, Manuel Leander, 14 Jennifer Lane, Coventry, yearly license, reference pages 27 to 28. May I have a motion to approve the license?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. Is there someone here from Casa Tia Rosa? No. She left. Okay. Mr. Marchant, any comments about this application for renewal of the license?
No, not tonight.
Chief Heist, do you have any comments about this license? Okay, thank you. Members of the council, do you have any questions? Okay, roll call vote. Vice President Ludwig?
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Lima?
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. Agenda E, resolution by the Town Council of the Town of Coventry designating the week of September 18th through 24th as Coventry Community Wellness Week with a culminating community activity or event on Saturday, September 24th at the Coventry High School, reference pages 29 to 30. May I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Ms. Ludwig, this is on page 29. Would you like to read the resolution, please?
Was not prepared for.
Okay,
You want me to read it?
certainly.
A resolution by the Town Council of the Town of Coventry resolved that the Coventry Town Council hereby designates September 24th as Coventry Community Wellness Day. Whereas the Town of Coventry is a duly organized municipal corporation in the County of Kent and State of Rhode Island. Whereas the Town Council is the governing body of the town and is responsible for all aspects of governance. Whereas the town's focus on building resiliency and celebrating connections in our community with an overarching focus on trauma-informed care. And whereas the recent COVID pandemic led to an increase in isolation and need for our community to reconnect. Whereas the Town of Coventry Department of Human Services and the Coventry Public School District have worked in collaboration with the Ocean State Trauma Informed Community Coalition to grow a more resilient Coventry and work towards a more resilient Rhode Island. Wellness activities, including performances by local musicians, a health fair, and games for children will take place throughout the day. The first Coventry Community Wellness Day, which will take place at the Coventry High School on Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our Coventry community is invited to participate in a free family day with a focus on fun, wellness, and celebrating our resilient community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Town Council of the Town of Coventry, Rhode Island, respectfully designate September 24th as Coventry Community Wellness Day. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby instructed to submit a copy of this resolution to the Town of Coventry State Senator and State Representative, as well as the Executive Director of the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon the date hereof. I hereby certify that the foregoing resolution was adopted by the Honorable Town Council of the Town of Coventry at a regular meeting held on the 29th day of August, 2022.
Thank you very much. Mr. Robillard was unable to attend due to a family matter. Any members of the council have any questions about this resolution? Okay, roll call vote. Vice President Ludwig,
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Lima,
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The resolution is approved. Agenda E2, affirming award of purchase for a 2022 Ford Policy Interceptor Utility AWD SUV and the respective vehicle accessories, reference pages 31 to 37. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief Heist, tell us what these vehicles are.
So these are two police vehicles, SUVs for us. They're the cost of them is $125,998.10 to outfit them and purchase the vehicles. That's including the radios and full outfitting.
Now, is this in your budget already?
It's in the capital budget.
It's the what, please?
It's in the capital budget.
In the capital budget? Okay. Any other questions by members of the council? Mrs. Lima?
I just wanted to ask, what financial data do we have to support that this money is available to make this purchase?
This is covered by current year revenues in the budget.
When you say current year revenues, do you mean FY23?
Yes.
Well, Chief Heist, are these vehicles something you need immediately?
So part of the issue we run into is these quotes will be only good for 30 days. In addition to that, even the radios, to order the radios, there's a 26-week delay to even get them.
Mhm.
So if you push it off, I'm not sure when they would come in,
Yeah.
but we do need them.
I totally want to support you so bad, but my issue is, like you've heard at other meetings, we haven't seen a budget to actual report since last year. So I don't know what our financial situation is. And it's a huge chunk of cash to commit. And it's not because I don't want to support you or I don't think you need it. It's just, I'm kind of making a blindfold decision. So it's nothing against this quote or the department. That's really where it's at. So there was an opportunity to, I'd like to hear what the rest of the council members are saying, but if there was an opportunity to at least table to one of the September meetings where we could get more financial information to help us feel better about this and provide evidence that we have the funds to be able to pay for this, I would appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Motion to table.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to table this agenda item. Roll call. Ms. Ludwig,
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Lima,
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, no.
Yeah, you should have gone.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Shockley.
I would like to be prepared to vote on this at the next meeting, if at all possible. Manager Marchant, when he says the capital budget, can you be more specific for me, please? Is this the $500,000 in capital that we have set aside?
Yes.
And was this something that we had intended on putting that money towards when we put aside the $500,000?
Yes.
And can I ask also about the radio equipment? You said it's how many weeks before we get the radio equipment?
26-week delay.
Are Are the cars safe? Like, is it safe to be a police officer? What do you use for radios? I guess I want to ask, like, what do you do
So
in
we
that?
have a radio in the cars, and then we also have portables on our sides. These are the in-car radios.
Like I said, is that a safe way of driving a police car without that radio attached?
No, we need that communication.
No,
I
wasn't
think she's
questioning it in the
asking.
future. I was questioning if it was safe now. Like, I definitely
We have them in our current cars.
These are for this
No.
vehicle.
No, I understood that. That's why I was just concerned about the idea of you guys using these two vehicles without the radios. But because you have your side radio, it would.
Well, no, they'd probably be sidelined until we could actually get the radios installed.
Okay. When do you expect? So you're buying these cars, but you wouldn't be using them for.
We'd be ordering them now, and I'm not
About
sure
6
the
months.
exact delay on getting them here and outfitted. There's a time delay to actually get them usable. They
Okay.
have to go to the company to outfit them, which takes several weeks depending on how many vehicles they're working on.
Okay. And when did you get the original quote? Because you said it's a 30-day quote. I'm just looking at so this is from 8/18.
8/4. This is the date on this quote on the top one.
Quote I'm looking at says 8/17, I think.
Well, there's each one's quoted different. So 8/4
Okay.
was the quote for the car itself.
November 7th.
The radio quote was on August 9th. The global for the outfitting that expires on September 17th.
Mr. Marchand, a question for you. There's a motion and a second to table this now till September 12th. Will we have information by September 12th that would allow a different decision or a decision to be made that would be any different than what could be made this evening?
We hope to have the FY21 audit finished by then and have at least draft statements available. That would be more information than we have today. However, I don't know that we'll have budget to actual year-to-date monthly reports for July or August by that point. We are behind on our financial reporting and reports as we're finishing the 21 audit.
So
My
I'm just
motion was to table, not table to the 12th. It was a general table. We don't have to discuss and it was seconded, so we don't have to discuss the date.
Mr. LeBlanc?
I just want some clarification. Mr. Marchand, you had mentioned that this was in the capital budget and it was something that was budgeted. I think I specifically had asked, I knew we had a certain amount of money in capital and I had asked for what projects were in there. And the answer I had received, I think it was, 2 months now, that it was just there for miscellaneous that we as a council would be able to decide what we're going to use that capital for. But you just answered that it's in the capital and it was intentionally budgeted for. So I just wanted to clarify that comment. So do you have a list of projects now for capital? And if you do, I would love to know what's budgeted.
I'll ask Lisa to help answer that because she compiled the budget and managed it between the departments.
So his two police cars are in the budget. And if you look in the actual budget that was passed on the CIP page, it lists all the potential CIP that everyone wanted. And then at a last minute change, when we all reduced the CIP by 400,000, that 400,000 reduction didn't get allocated to which one is going to leave, but original vehicles are in there. And so there's a listing.
So it was in there, but then it was taken out?
No, there's a listing of about 12 assets. Okay. And the cost and the estimates included in that were 2 police vehicles. And then the last town council meeting, you all reduced the CIP by 400,000.
We sure did.
We didn't take that 400,000 and allocate it to which passes are going to be done or not.
Right.
So,
That's my point.
But that's the original, they're in there. Whether the 400,000 is most of it was relating to DPW equipment. And then there's a couple police vehicles and one recreation asset.
Got it. Okay. I'm not sure that exactly answers my question, but okay. Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Okay. We had a motion and a second to table, and we were going through the voting, and it was 4 yeas and 1 nay. And then we ended up with more questions, which is fine. So we've taken the vote for tabling, so the motion is tabled.
Thank you.
We'll let you know, Chief, when it will come back up on the agenda. Item F1, Town Council updates. We have openings on the following boards and commissions: Tax Assessment Board of Review, and all of these are listed on the web, and we also have applications. These are very interesting positions, and we hope that the public will take note of the boards and commissions that are actively recruiting members. Some of them need enough members so that they will have a quorum. Others do have quorums, but we want to have a full complement of these members on all of the boards and commissions. We also have an opening on the Patuxent River Authority, an opening on the Sewer Assessment Board of Review, openings on the Sewer Subcommittee, openings on the Economic Development Commission, and we also are looking actively for 3 members for the School Building Committee. We specifically are looking for 3 electors from the community, one of whom may have architectural and engineering or construction experience. The others 2 do not need that kind of expertise, but we welcome anyone who would like to apply to please complete an application and submit it to the town clerk as quickly as possible. Hopefully, if we get applications, we will begin interviewing these 3 candidates, or more than that, for these 3 positions by September 12th. Town manager update, Mr. Marchand.
Yes, thank you. Just to give an update on the progress of the current audit, I spoke with one of the partners at Clifton Larson Anderson and this morning, and they said they are getting close. They're hoping to have draft financials prepared before the next council meeting, and I'm looking forward to having those out. And that will allow staff to proceed with the FY22 financial statements, and we're hoping to get the FY22 audit done by the state deadline of December 31st this year.
Thank you. Questions by any members of the council? Thank you. Ms. Ludwig?
So my understanding for the 2021 audit is that there was a number agreed for the due to, due from, the final amount approximately a week ago. What are next steps on bringing that into possibly the next session for some type of resolution, or what is the next step on that account?
Yeah, I think with the draft financial statements and the resolution of the audit, we'll be prepared to bring that as an item before the council for a resolution to further resolve the due to, due from with the school.
I have mentioned this to Kathy Patino, the school committee member or chairperson, to Craig Levis as superintendent in an email, but I'll just share it with the council. I do have some concerns about approving another resolution with a date of October 3rd on it, like we did the first one, just because the second amount is so much larger and we've already approved the first amount. So I have no problem with the amount. I just want to make sure that we have a little more information before we agree on the timing. So I just want to be transparent with the audience and the public that I do think a little bit of discussion is needed on the date of the transfer, not the amount itself. That has already been agreed. So thank you.
Mr. Marchand, could you provide us with that information?
we will prepare that information at the time we present it to the council for
Okay.
consideration.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, next agenda item, discussion and or action on the Coventry Public School building design. Just want to mention that a small group of people have been meeting. This included Superintendent Craig Levis, Town Manager Ben Marchant, School Committee Member Kathy Patno, and when she has not been able to be present, Council Member or School Committee Member James Pearson. I've been present, and Mario Carino, who is our consultant or who works for Rhode Island, Department of Education, has been a consultant to us. And we've met in order to try to think about, do we want to have another school construction bond discussion? Do we want to form another committee? Do we want to entertain the possibility of applying for a bond through the Rhode Island Department of Education, which is offering very attractive incentives of up to 70%, depending upon the type of school design that we present. So the group got together to discuss roles and responsibilities, who would need to be on this committee, the School Building Design Committee. And we looked at what does a Coventry charter recommend, what does RIDE require, and we came up with a list of members that would meet the requirements for both RIDE and the charter. And that's why most of the requirements require us to have people either from the school department or from the town. So we are looking for 3 more electors from the town to be on this committee. So we are looking actively for 3 more members. We've also talked about the fact that financing, in order to submit a stage 2 application, first of all, you have to submit a stage 1 application, and Superintendent Levis was able to submit on a timely basis the stage 1 application using information that had been developed for the last stage 1 application that basically says that we have an intent. It doesn't mean we're committed to anything, but we wanted to let the Rhode Island Department of Education know that we're interested in pursuing the possibility of a bond. The financing for stage 2 requires a consultant. So in the small group, we discussed what would be the requirements for the type of consultant. And last meeting, we also authorized the town manager we authorized him to put out an RFP for a consultant. So we're looking for what are the possibilities for a consultant who could work with us on a stage 2 application. This does not commit us to hiring anyone. It simply says, this is what we're looking for, who's out there, who might be interested, who has the expertise that could provide the kind of information that a school building design committee would need. So we talked about that. We talked about where the funding would come from. Basically, the town does not have any money in its budget, nor does the school, but there are creative ways to find some funding which would allow us to start the process and then get reimbursed through the bond if we should get one. And we also talked about the estimation of what would be our bonding capacity, and we talked about different numbers. So what we're going to do next week or the next meeting will be to appoint members to this committee and just jumpstart the process. At any time, we can stop the process if we feel that the timing is not appropriate or we don't have the appropriate number of electors. We cannot get started until we have a full complement of people. We're seeking, I think it's, we have a membership on the team of 15, 9 would be voting, and we're looking for 3 more 3 more voting members. So that's what we're looking for at this point in time. So this small group will be meeting this week again to continue the process. Once we receive applications from consultants, the Superintendent Levis and our town manager will be reviewing these applications and then submitting them to a school building design committee once it is formed. So we're working and basically following the same process that was followed for the last building design committee that was formed, but we have a very aggressive time schedule. So that group will have to decide whether it's going to be able to submit a proposal to the state by February, or whether they'll have to delay until a few months later. Every delay might represent a change in the amount that can be reimbursed by the state. Right now, it looks good for 70% reimbursement. Should we have a design according to what the state says, is fewer and newer. That means that proposes consolidation don't want to say what the consolidation would be. We have no idea. The building committee has not met, but some type of consolidation and some type of new construction is required in order to get the full 70%. If we don't meet that requirement of fewer and newer, then the amount of reimbursement could be reduced. We're not sure by what. So just to give you a fill in. On item G2, we were going to appoint members, but since we don't have a full complement, we're going to delay the appointment of any members to this committee. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that by September 12th. Any questions that people would like to ask right now?
I'll make a motion to table item G2.
Thank you. May I have a second?
A second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on tabling? A roll call vote. Vice President Ludwig?
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Lima?
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is tabled. H, second reading for discussion and/or action. New ordinance titled Chapter 223, Tobacco and Non-Tobacco Products and Their Prohibited Use. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Great. This is reference pages 38 to 40. Are there any questions that members of the council would like to ask about this ordinance? Mrs. Lima?
We just checked Zoom to see if Ms. DeVerna has tuned in. She might have been able to, but she had an obligation at the middle school tonight.
Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to speak about this ordinance?
Just want to see if Dana DeVerna was present. This was kind of her project. Okay, it's on.
Okay. Mr. Gorham, any comments about the ordinance, please?
I've read it. I think it's very thorough and it's well written. Whoever wrote it. So nice job. Good
Excellent.
idea too, I think.
Excellent. Thank you. I know that Mrs. Lima was very actively involved in moving this ordinance through the council. Would you like to give us a summary? We did discuss this at the last meeting, but we have a number of new people on the Zoom. So just give us a summary of what this requires.
So this, just as a refresh, this ordinance revision was proposed by a member of our community who's involved with the Cranston Substance Abuse Task Force and the Coventry Substance Abuse Task Force. They're looking to update our current ordinance as it relates to tobacco and non-tobacco products and their prohibited use to include electronic smoking devices, and that's outlined in the ordinance, to make this current with 2022 in terms of what tobacco products are on the market and could potentially be used at town facilities. This also outlines penalties and for those who violate or as an offense to this ordinance. And there's grant funding given with the Coventry Substance Abuse Task Force to produce the signage that would be revised at the town facilities at no cost to the town. So this is something that's paid for with grant money and is just updating an ordinance to be current with today's times.
Thank you. Any other comments by members of the council? Okay. Chief Heist, do you have any comments about this ordinance? We did ask you the last time when we had the first reading. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, roll call vote. Vice President Ludwig?
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Lima?
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon, yes. 5 yeas, no nays. The motion passes. Agenda I, public comment. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak? Please raise your hand. I'll recognize you and you may come to the podium, state your name and address and make your comment. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand in the chat and our IT administrator will let you into the meeting. Yes, sir. Please come forward.
So my name is Brian Hartman, 16 Hopkins Hill Road. and also the finance director. So sorry, of the town at the moment. I am here because there was a internet posting I read on Sunday, and I'd like to discuss some of the issues that have delayed the audit. One of the issues is that there was no evidence ever of formal cash reconciliation, whereby the reconciled amounts per the bank statements in the prior people running the treasurer's office, or I guess it's a financial minister office, that these reconciliations were ever done. Now, if you don't do a financial reconciliation with the bank statements versus the ledger, you will find that your postings of revenues, expenses, so on, so forth, will be missed. Once they miss, they corrupt the financial statements if they have never found. Now, I have looked at the reconciliations, and I assume that, look at the cash history, that this practice probably is going on for years. There's been no formal reconciliation. As to my background in this matter, I worked for 32 and a half years with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Revenue. One of those agencies I worked for was called the Bureau of Accounts. Bureau of Accounts primarily responsible at the moment, at the time I worked there, for audits of municipalities. And I conducted audits of municipalities during my time there. I also spent 2 years with a CPA firm down in Bourne, and their major responsibility was to conduct audits. And as I stated, that the most important thing audit has to do is to reconcile cash. Then you can go on to other things. That's the most thing. And as I said, there was no formal reconciliation that compared the cash accounts to the ledgers. And as I said, that existed for years. And in my opinion, of course, because I wasn't there. In fact, during most of this audit period, the present staff of the treasurer's office was not during the audit period. So we're all new people, and we are that document that was posted on the internet pertained to the fiscal 21 audit. I wasn't there. Lisa was there for a short period, and most of the problems that we fixed in order to get the audit to this point were created under prior personnel. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Are there any other members of the public who would like to make a statement or make a comment? I don't see anyone. On Zoom, I don't see any hands, but please raise your hand if you would like to make a comment. You go to the chat box. Okay, seeing none. May I have a motion to adjourn at 8:34?
So moved.
May I
I'll
have a
second it.
second? Thank you. Roll call vote, Vice President Ludwig.
Yes.
Mr. LeBlanc,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Lima.
Yes.
Mrs. Dixon. Yes, 5 yeas, no nays. The motion is approved. The meeting is adjourned at 8:34.